Valkyries, choosers of the slain and guides to Valhalla. Part 1. Riders in the Sky. Who are these shining maidens of battle? The Valkyries, figures of immense power and mystique in Norse mythology, are often depicted as fierce and beautiful warrior maidens. Their name, derived from Old Norse Valkyria, literally means chooser of the slain. These formidable entities are not merely celestial beings. They play a crucial, active role in the grand cosmic drama, particularly concerning the fate of warriors who fall in battle. They are often described as riding winged horses or wolves through the sky, their armor gleaming, their spears poised, as they observe the chaos of human conflict. This powerful imagery has captivated imaginations for centuries, painting a picture of divine intervention in the most brutal of earthly endeavors. They are primarily servants of Odin, the Allfather, chief of the Norse gods. Their primary duty involves sifting through the fallen on battlefields, selecting those deemed worthy to join the ranks of the Einherjar in Valhalla. This task is not a passive observation, but an active, decisive act that determines the afterlife of countless heroes. The Valkyries are often described as having a direct hand in shaping the outcome of battles, sometimes even inciting conflict to ensure a sufficient number of valiant souls for Odin's grand purpose. Their presence on the battlefield is both a terrifying and inspiring sight, a harbinger of destiny for all who stand before them. While often grouped together, the Valkyries are not a monolithic entity. Various texts hint at individual identities and roles. Some are named, such as Brynhildr, Sigrun, and Svipul, each carrying their own specific lore and narrative arcs within the Eddas and sagas. These individual stories reveal a more complex character than mere battle-hardened automatons. They demonstrate agency, emotion, and sometimes even defiance, challenging the notion of them as purely subservient figures. Their names often reflect their attributes, such as Victorious Rune or Dreamgiver, further hinting at their diverse responsibilities beyond the battlefield. The shimmering light associated with Valkyries in early Germanic belief is thought to be the aurora borealis, a natural phenomenon interpreted as the gleam of their armor and weapons as they ride across the northern skies. This connection intertwines their divine presence with the natural world, grounding their ethereal nature in tangible phenomena. The visual spectacle of the northern lights would have undoubtedly reinforced the awe and fear inspired by these powerful maidens, making their presence felt even when unseen. This naturalistic interpretation adds another layer to their mythological significance, blending the celestial with the terrestrial. Their attire is consistently described as fitting for warriors. Helmets, mailcoats, and spears are common accoutrements. Yet, their beauty is also frequently emphasized, creating a striking contrast between their fierce martial prowess and their alluring appearance. This duality is central to their appeal, embodying both the destructive force of war and the captivating allure of destiny. They are not merely bringers of death, but also guides to a glorious afterlife, offering a promise of eternal feasting and combat in Valhalla. This blend of beauty and terror makes them truly unique figures in mythology. The concept of the Valkyries evolved over time, from perhaps more sinister, death-dealing spirits to the more glorified, noble figures we recognize today. Early Germanic folklore might have painted them as harbingers of doom, actively causing death and destruction. However, as the sagas and Eddas developed, their role shifted to that of selective guides, ensuring that only the most courageous warriors were chosen for Odin's hall. This evolution reflects a changing understanding of heroism and the afterlife, with the Valkyries becoming arbiters of honor rather than indiscriminate agents of death. Beyond their battlefield duties, some Valkyries also serve ale to the Einherjar in Valhalla, a seemingly domestic task that underscores their role as providers and nurturers within the hall. This dual function highlights their multifaceted nature, demonstrating that their existence is not solely defined by combat. They are integral to the ongoing life and joy within Valhalla, ensuring the comfort and well-being of the chosen warriors. This service reinforces their connection to the heroes, extending beyond the moment of their death to their eternal feasting. The Valkyries are not confined to the divine realm alone. Some sagas depict them as having mortal origins, being the daughters of kings or noblemen who were chosen by Odin for their sacred duties. This aspect adds a layer of relatability and depth to their characters, blurring the lines between the human and the divine. It suggests that even the most exalted beings can have roots in the earthly world, making their power and destiny all the more awe-inspiring. These mortal connections often lead to complex narratives of love, loss, and fate. Their connection to fate is undeniable. While they choose the slain, the underlying belief in a predetermined destiny for all individuals, especially warriors, means their choices are often seen as aligning with an already written path. They are not simply selecting at random. They are recognizing and fulfilling a cosmic order. This intricate relationship with fate makes their actions all the more profound, as they are both agents of destiny and observers of its unfolding. The Valkyries are thus both active participants and reflections of an overarching cosmic design. The presence of Valkyries signifies a direct link between the human world and the divine. Their descent upon battlefields is a palpable manifestation of the gods' interest in human affairs and their ultimate control over the afterlife. This connection reinforces the idea that human actions, particularly heroic ones, have cosmic significance. Their role bridges the gap between the mortal struggle and the immortal halls, giving purpose and meaning to the sacrifices made in battle. They are the ultimate messengers between realms. The imagery of Valkyries has permeated various forms of art and literature, solidifying their iconic status. From the dramatic operas of Richard Wagner to modern fantasy novels and video games, their appeal remains strong. Their blend of beauty, power, and destiny continues to resonate with audiences, making them enduring symbols of courage, fate, and the allure of the unknown. They represent a potent archetype that transcends their original mythological context. In essence, the Valkyries are far more than mere spirits of death. They are complex figures embodying the ideals of heroism, destiny, and the divine connection to human endeavor. They are powerful, beautiful, and enigmatic, forever riding the skies as choosers of the slain and guides to Valhalla's glorious halls. They remain a cornerstone of Norse mythology, inspiring awe and fascination. Part 2. Choosing the Fallen. Do warriors die by fate or by choice? The question of whether warriors die by fate or by the Valkyries' choice is a nuanced one within Norse mythology, reflecting the intricate interplay between destiny, divine intervention, and individual agency. On one hand, the concept of WYRD, or fate, is deeply ingrained in Norse belief. It suggests that every individual's life, including the manner and time of their death, is predetermined from birth. This cosmic tapestry of destiny is woven by the Norns, powerful female beings who reside at the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree, constantly shaping the threads of past, present, and future. In this view, a warrior's death on the battlefield is not accidental, but a fulfillment of their preordained path. However, the Valkyries' role as, quote, choosers of the slain introduces an element of selection, implying a degree of active decision-making. If fate dictates all, then what is the purpose of their choosing? This apparent contradiction highlights a central tension in Norse cosmology. It can be interpreted that while the general outcome of a battle, or the fact of a warrior's death might be fated, the specific individuals chosen for Valhalla are subject to the Valkyries' discernment. They might not alter the fact of death, but they decide who among the fallen possesses the qualities most desired by Odin for his elite fighting force. Odin's desire for a vast army of Einherjar in Valhalla, specifically to fight alongside him during Ragnarok, adds another layer to this selection process. He is not merely interested in any fallen warrior, but in those who have demonstrated exceptional courage, skill, and an unwavering fighting spirit. The Valkyries, as Odin's agents, are tasked with identifying these specific traits. They observe battles with a discerning eye, looking for acts of particular bravery or a glorious death, not just any death. Their choice, therefore, reflects a qualitative assessment, not just a quantitative one. This selection process elevates the significance of a warrior's actions in battle. Knowing that Valkyries are watching and choosing incentivizes bravery and a desire for a glorious death. A warrior might die regardless of their valor, but only through valor can they hope to be chosen for Valhalla. This belief instilled a profound warrior ethos, where dying bravely was not just a noble act, but a strategic one for securing an honorable afterlife. The Valkyries become arbiters of this honor, their gaze a silent challenge to every combatant. Some interpretations suggest that the Valkyries might even subtly influence battles to ensure the deaths of certain individuals, or to create opportunities for glorious acts. They are not passive observers, but active participants in the unfolding of destiny, albeit within the boundaries of what is ultimately fated. This active role would reconcile their choosing with the concept of fate, suggesting they are instruments through which fate manifests, guiding specific souls to their predetermined glory. They don't change fate, but direct its current. Consider the role of the Disir, female spirits sometimes associated with fate and often conflated with Valkyries. These figures also have a hand in the destinies of individuals and clans. The overlap between Valkyries and Disir further blurs the line between active selection and predetermined destiny. It suggests a spectrum of divine and semi-divine beings who collectively manage the flow of life and death, with the Valkyries occupying a specific niche related to the afterlife of warriors. They are part of a larger, interconnected web of cosmic influence. The sagas sometimes portray Valkyries as having personal preferences or being influenced by the deeds of specific heroes. This hints at a subjective element in their choices, suggesting that not all selections are purely mechanical. A particularly heroic or captivating warrior might catch a Valkyrie's eye, leading to their selection. This injects a human element into the divine process, making the Valkyries more relatable and their choices more dynamic than if they were simply following a rigid checklist. Their decisions can be seen as a blend of divine directive and individual judgment. Ultimately, the Norse worldview embraces both fate and agency, not as mutually exclusive concepts, but as intertwined forces. A warrior's death is fated, but the manner in which they meet that fate, and thus their worthiness for Valhalla, is influenced by their choices and actions. The Valkyries are the agents who bridge this gap, recognizing the fated moment of death, and then making the choice to elevate those who have proven themselves worthy in fulfilling their destiny. They are the visible hand of an invisible cosmic design. Their choices are not arbitrary, but are deeply tied to the warrior culture and values of the Norse people. Courage, honor, loyalty, and a willingness to fight to the death were paramount. The Valkyries embody these values, and their selection reflects a divine affirmation of such qualities. To be chosen by a Valkyrie was the highest honor, signifying that one had lived and died in accordance with the most esteemed principles of their society. This reinforces the cultural importance of their role. So, while a warrior's death might be fated from the loom of the Norns, the Valkyries act as the final arbiters, sifting through the fallen to identify those precious few who will join Odin's hall. They are not defying fate, but rather refining it, ensuring that only the bravest and most skilled warriors are prepared for the ultimate battle. Their choice is an affirmation of a hero's life and death, guiding them to their glorious, fated afterlife. The interplay between fate and choice, particularly as embodied by the Valkyries, underscores the complexity and richness of Norse mythological thought. It offers a framework where individual actions hold profound significance, even within a world governed by an overarching destiny. The Valkyries ensure that even in death, a warrior's legacy is recognized and honored. Part 3. The Hall of Heroes. Why does Valhalla need endless warriors? Valhalla, the majestic hall of Odin, is often depicted as a glorious afterlife reserved for the bravest of fallen warriors. But why does Odin, the Allfather, need an endless supply of these Einherjar, the chosen slain, feasting and training within its golden walls? The answer lies at the heart of Norse eschatology, Ragnarok, the prophesied twilight of the gods. This cataclysmic event is not merely an ending, but a cyclical destruction and rebirth of the cosmos, involving a final, epic battle between the gods and their enemies. Odin's relentless recruitment of warriors is a strategic preparation for this ultimate confrontation. Ragnarok is foreseen as a time of immense chaos and devastation, where the old order will crumble. The gods, led by Odin, will face off against formidable foes such as the monstrous wolf Fenrir, the Midgard serpent Jormungandr, and the legions of Hel and the frost giants. It is a battle of cosmic proportions, and the gods, though powerful, are not invincible. To stand any chance against such overwhelming adversaries, Odin needs an army of unparalleled strength and courage, and that army is the Einherjar. They are his hope for survival, a bulwark against the forces of destruction. The daily routine of the Einherjar in Valhalla perfectly illustrates their purpose. Each morning they rise and engage in fierce, mock battles, sharpening their skills and preparing for the real fight to come. Any wounds sustained are magically healed by evening, allowing them to feast and drink in joyous camaraderie. This cycle of intense training and lavish feasting is not simply a reward. It is a rigorous regimen designed to forge the ultimate fighting force, honed to perfection for the final moments of the world. Every feast, every spar, every boast contributes to their readiness. Odin, with his vast wisdom, understands the inevitability of Ragnarok. He knows that many gods, including himself, are destined to fall in this final conflict. Therefore, the Einherjar are not meant to ensure the gods' victory in a definitive sense, but rather to fight alongside them, making a stand against the forces of chaos and ensuring that the gods face their fate with honor and a formidable escort. They are meant to be the vanguard, the loyal shield wall that stands with Odin until the very end. Their sacrifice is a testament to their loyalty and the cosmic order. The concept of an endless supply of warriors emphasizes the sheer scale of the coming battle. Ragnarok is not a skirmish, it is a total war involving countless entities. To meet such a threat, Odin cannot rely on a small, finite force. He needs a continuous influx of the bravest human souls, constantly replenishing and strengthening his army, ensuring that the numbers remain formidable, even as the prophecy unfolds. The more Einherjar he gathers, the greater the chance of a meaningful stand against oblivion. Furthermore, the very act of gathering these warriors underscores Odin's proactive nature and his profound concern for the fate of the cosmos. He is not passively waiting for destiny to unfold. He is actively preparing, marshaling his resources, and building his forces. The Valkyries are instrumental in this effort, serving as his recruiters, ensuring that no worthy warrior is overlooked in the grand scheme. They are the eyes and hands of Odin, extending his reach into the mortal realm. Valhalla itself serves as more than just a barracks. It is a place of honor and perpetual celebration, a fitting reward for those who have lived and died bravely. This promise of a glorious afterlife encourages heroism and a willingness to face death on the battlefield, thereby ensuring a steady stream of recruits for Odin's army. The allure of Valhalla is a powerful motivator, shaping the warrior ethos of the Norse people and providing a compelling reason to fight with ultimate courage. It is a tangible reward for ultimate sacrifice. The endless nature of the warriors might also speak to the continuous cycle of human conflict. As long as humans fight and die heroically, Valhalla will continue to receive its chosen. This ongoing recruitment reflects the perpetual nature of war in the human world and its direct impact on the divine. It suggests a symbiotic relationship where human bravery feeds the divine army, and the divine promises a glorious eternal reward. In summary, Valhalla needs endless warriors, not for eternal conquest, but for the ultimate defense. They are the vanguard against Ragnarok, Odin's chosen champions in the final battle for the cosmos. Their relentless training and endless numbers are a testament to the immense threat posed by the Twilight of the Gods and Odin's determination to meet it with the strongest possible force. Their existence is intrinsically tied to the grand cyclical narrative of Norse mythology. Part 4. Love and Lore. Are Valkyries warriors or brides? The portrayal of Valkyries in Norse mythology presents a fascinating dichotomy. Are they solely fierce, battle-hardened warriors? Or do they also embody a softer romantic aspect, sometimes appearing as brides or lovers? The lore suggests a complex answer, where both roles are often intertwined, reflecting the multifaceted nature of these powerful female figures. While their primary function is undoubtedly martial, several sagas and poems reveal them engaging in profound emotional relationships, blurring the lines between their divine duties and personal affections. This duality adds considerable depth to their characters, making them more than mere instruments of fate. Their warrior aspect is undeniable and forms the foundation of their mythological identity. They ride to battle, choose the slain, and guide heroes to Valhalla. Their names, like Gunnar, Battle, and Skogul, Shaker, further emphasize their connection to conflict and the ferocity of war. They are described with spears, helmets, and mail, actively participating in the gruesome realities of the battlefield. This image of the powerful female warrior is a cornerstone of their appeal, and a significant contribution to female archetypes in mythology. They are symbols of strength and martial prowess. However, many stories depict Valkyries taking mortal lovers or even marrying human heroes, often after a period of enchantment or a test of worthiness. The most famous example is Brynhildr, a prominent Valkyrie in the Volsunga saga and the Poetic Edda. Her story involves falling in love with the hero Sigurd, enduring a curse, and ultimately facing a tragic fate rooted in betrayal and broken vows. This narrative powerfully demonstrates a Valkyrie's capacity for deep love, passion, and suffering, moving beyond her role as a chooser of the slain into the realm of profound personal connection. Another notable instance is the Valkyrie Sigrun, who falls in love with the hero Helgi Hundingsbane. Their story is one of mutual admiration and shared destiny, where Sigrun actively aids Helgi in his battles and mourns him deeply upon his death. She is depicted as a protector and a beloved, illustrating that their involvement with mortals can extend far beyond the battlefield selection process. These relationships highlight their emotional depth and willingness to commit to mortal bonds, even with the knowledge of their own divine nature. These romantic entanglements often come with significant consequences, emphasizing that a Valkyrie's choice to love a mortal is not without peril or challenge. Brynhilder's narrative, in particular, showcases the tragic potential of such unions, where divine beings become entangled in human dramas of jealousy and revenge. These stories serve to humanize the Valkyries, presenting them as beings capable of both immense power and intense vulnerability, making them more relatable and complex. Their love stories are often epic in scope, mirroring their heroic counterparts. The dual role of warrior and potential bride might also stem from the broader Norse societal structure, where women, particularly Shieldmaidens, who are often conflated with Valkyries, could hold significant power and engage in battle while also fulfilling domestic roles. The mythological Valkyries might represent an idealized, divine version of this societal ideal, capable of both martial prowess and loving devotion. This cultural context provides a framework for understanding how these seemingly disparate roles could coexist within a single figure. The swan maiden motif, found in various Germanic and Norse tales, also influences the perception of Valkyries as potential brides. In these stories, divine or supernatural women shed their animal skins, often swan feathers, to become human, and if their skin is stolen, they are forced to marry a mortal. While not all Valkyries are explicitly swan maidens, the motif contributes to the idea of celestial beings entering into earthly unions, further blurring the lines between their divine duties and personal lives. Ultimately, the Valkyries are not exclusively one or the other. They are complex beings who embody both martial might and emotional depth. Their warrior aspect ensures the smooth functioning of Odin's cosmic plan, while their romantic entanglements ground them in narratives of human experience. This blend makes them exceptionally compelling figures in Norse mythology, capable of inspiring both awe on the battlefield and profound empathy in matters of the heart. They are truly complete beings. The enduring fascination with Valkyries often lies precisely in this duality, the powerful maiden who can wield a spear with deadly precision yet also experience the deepest forms of love and sorrow. They are not one-dimensional figures but complex archetypes that speak to the multifaceted nature of heroism and femininity within the Norse worldview. Their stories continue to resonate, highlighting the enduring power of these legendary women. Part 5. The Dark Side. What happens when Valkyries defy Odin? While Valkyries are primarily depicted as loyal servants of Odin, dutifully selecting the slain and guiding them to Valhalla, Norse mythology also explores what happens when these powerful maidens defy the Allfather. Such defiance is rare, but when it occurs, it carries severe consequences, highlighting Odin's supreme authority and the strict cosmic order he maintains. These narratives reveal a dark side, not necessarily inherent to the Valkyries themselves, but in the repercussions of challenging divine will. The most prominent example of this defiance and its aftermath is the story of Brynhilder, a Valkyrie who suffers immense punishment for her insubordination. Brynhilder's tale, central to the Volsunga saga and parts of the Poetic Edda, begins with her being a Valkyrie who, against Odin's direct orders, chose a different king to win a battle than the one Odin favored. This act of disobedience was a direct challenge to the All-Father's authority and his plans for the flow of war and the selection of heroes. Her choice was not a minor transgression, but a significant deviation from her assigned duty, essentially undermining Odin's control over the destinies of mortal rulers and warriors. Such a deliberate act of defiance could not go unpunished. Odin's retribution was swift and severe. As punishment, he stripped Brynhildr of her Valkyrie status, condemning her to a mortal life. More dramatically, he surrounded her with a ring of fire on a remote mountain peak, where she was cursed to sleep until a hero brave enough to ride through the flames could awaken her. This was not just a demotion, but a profound transformation of her existence, forcing her from a divine, active role into a passive, vulnerable state. The fiery wall was both a prison and a test, marking the severity of her transgression. The consequences of Brynhildr's defiance extend beyond her personal suffering. Her story becomes intertwined with the tragic fate of the hero Sigurd, whom she ultimately loves. Her curse and the subsequent events involving the magic of forgetfulness and betrayal lead to immense sorrow, jealousy, and eventually the deaths of several key characters, including herself. Her initial act of defiance against Odin sets in motion a chain of tragic events, demonstrating the far-reaching impact of challenging divine will. It suggests that such acts can unravel not just individual lives, but entire lineages. Another aspect of the dark side is the potential for Valkyries to be associated with more malevolent forces in earlier, less glorified interpretations. Some scholars suggested that the Valkyries evolved from more sinister death demons, or even wraiths, who would actively revel in the carnage of battle and feast on the fallen. While this portrayal largely gave way to the more noble choosers of the slain, echoes of this darker, more predatory aspect can still be found. It hints at a primal, uncontrolled power that, if unleashed or misused, could be truly terrifying. The concept of a Valkyrie falling or being removed from her divine service also carries a psychological weight. It signifies a loss of identity, purpose, and connection to the divine realm. For a being whose very existence is defined by her role, such a punishment would be devastating, forcing an internal reckoning with who she is without her sacred duties. This internal conflict is a subtle dark side of their experience, a potential for profound existential crisis when stripped of their divine function. While explicit defiance like Brynhildr's is rare, the threat of such punishment would serve as a powerful deterrent for other Valkyries. It reinforces the hierarchy within the divine realm and ensures the continued loyalty and obedience of Odin's chosen maidens. The legends act as cautionary tales, demonstrating that even powerful beings cannot flout the will of the All-Father without facing severe repercussions. The strictness of the divine order is paramount. In essence, the dark side of Valkyries emerges not from an inherent evil within them, but from the severe consequences of defying the established divine order, particularly the will of Odin. Brynhildr's story stands as a powerful testament to the repercussions of such insubordination, transforming a glorious warrior maiden into a tragic figure whose defiance sets in motion a cycle of sorrow and death. These narratives underscore the rigid structure of Norse cosmology and the ultimate power of its chief deity. Part 6: Shieldmaidens and Myth. Where does history meet legend? The concept of the Valkyrie, a fierce female warrior, finds a fascinating echo in the historical and archaeological evidence surrounding shield maidens in Viking Age Scandinavia. While Valkyries are undoubtedly mythical beings, the persistent presence of stories about human women who fought alongside men, suggests a point where history meets legend, blurring the lines between divine inspiration and mortal reality. The question is not whether shield maidens were literal Valkyries, but how the societal context and occasional historical instances of female warriors might have influenced or been influenced by the powerful myth of the Valkyries. Archaeological discoveries have provided compelling evidence that challenges the traditional view of Viking society as exclusively male-dominated in warfare. Graves containing weapons alongside female remains have been found, notably the Burka warrior grave, BJ 581, initially identified as male but later confirmed through osteological and DNA analysis to be female. This discovery strongly suggests that at least some women held positions of authority and engaged in combat, lending credence to the historical plausibility of shield maidens. These findings provide a tangible link between legend and archaeological fact. Written sources, particularly the Icelandic sagas, frequently feature shield maidens. Characters like Lagertha, a legendary Viking shield maiden, and wife of Ragnar Lodbrok, appear in the Gesta Danorum by Saxo Grammaticus. While these sagas are semi-historical and often embellished with heroic and mythological elements, their consistent portrayal of formidable female warriors indicates that the concept was firmly embedded in the cultural imagination of the Norse people. The repetition of such figures suggests they were not entirely fictional, but rather reflections of a societal understanding. The existence of shield maidens in historical accounts and sagas provides a cultural framework through which the myth of the Valkyries could have been understood and interpreted. If human women could be warriors, then the idea of divine female warriors would have seemed less alien and more a glorious extension of something already present in their own world. The Valkyries could be seen as idealized versions of these real-life female combatants, embodying the ultimate form of their martial spirit. Conversely, the powerful myth of the Valkyries might have inspired and validated the role of historical shield maidens. The divine example of warrior maidens could have provided a strong cultural precedent and encouragement for women to take up arms. If the gods themselves had female warriors, then it was an honorable and respected path for mortals. The legend might have influenced the historical reality, creating a feedback loop between myth and practice. The distinction between a shield maiden and a Valkyrie lies primarily in their nature. Shield maidens were mortal women, albeit exceptional ones, who chose or were compelled to fight. Valkyries were supernatural beings, divine agents of Odin, responsible for the cosmic order of death and the afterlife. However, the characteristics attributed to both courage, skill in battle, and a fierce spirit are strikingly similar, leading to their frequent conflation in popular imagination. This shared heroism connects them across the divide of mortality and divinity. Some theories suggest that the Valkyrie myth itself might have originated from early beliefs about female spirits associated with battle and death, which then became intertwined with the heroic tales of actual female warriors. As Norse culture developed, these two concepts could have merged, solidifying the image of the powerful divine female warrior in the form of the Valkyrie, while also influencing the tales of mortal shield maidens. This evolutionary view offers a comprehensive understanding of their interconnectedness. The cultural significance of both figures cannot be overstated. They represented strength, independence, and a challenge to conventional gender roles, demonstrating that power and heroism were not exclusive to men. This powerful imagery continues to resonate today, inspiring stories and art that celebrate female strength and agency. The legacy of both shield maidens and Valkyries remains a potent symbol of female empowerment. In conclusion, the line where history meets legend regarding Shieldmaidens and Valkyries is a complex and fascinating one. While Valkyries are mythological beings, the historical and archaeological evidence for female warriors, combined with the rich saga tradition, suggests that the concept of the female combatant was a powerful and enduring part of the Norse worldview. This interplay between the real and the imagined created a vivid tapestry where the strength of mortal women and the glory of divine maidens mutually reinforced each other. Part 7. From Wagner to Fantasy. Why do Valkyries still enchant us? The enduring enchantment of Valkyries, transcending their original mythological context and permeating everything from operatic masterpieces to modern fantasy epics, is a testament to their powerful archetype. These shining maidens of battle continue to captivate audiences across centuries and cultures, not just as historical curiosities, but as potent symbols that resonate deeply with contemporary themes. Their allure lies in a unique blend of strength, beauty, destiny, and a certain ethereal mystique that speaks to universal human experiences. One of the most significant figures in solidifying the Valkyries' iconic status in the modern imagination is Richard Wagner. His monumental opera cycle, Der Ring des Nibelungen, particularly Die Valkyr, brought the Norse myths, and specifically the Valkyries, to a global audience. Wagner's dramatic music, the famous Ride of the Valkyries, with its soaring melodies and powerful brass, created an indelible image of majestic helmeted women soaring through the sky. This powerful artistic interpretation cemented their image as awe-inspiring figures of immense power and destiny, accessible to a broader world. The Valkyries represent a powerful archetype of the strong, independent female warrior. In many cultures, narratives traditionally confined women to domestic or supportive roles. The Valkyries shatter this mold, presenting women who are active participants in the most brutal and glorious aspects of existence: war, death, and the shaping of destiny. This image of female agency and martial prowess resonates deeply, especially in contemporary society that values female empowerment and breaking traditional gender barriers. They are symbols of unconquered spirit. Their connection to fate and destiny also adds to their mystique. The idea that these beings personally choose who lives and who dies, and who achieves a glorious afterlife, imbues them with profound significance. It touches on humanity's perennial fascination with fate versus free will, and the desire for a meaningful existence and a heroic death. Valkyries serve as arbiters of this ultimate meaning, making them figures of both fear and profound aspiration. They offer a promise of purpose beyond mortality. The blend of beauty and ferocity is another captivating aspect. Valkyries are often described as both stunningly beautiful and terrifyingly effective warriors. This duality makes them complex and intriguing figures, challenging simplistic notions of femininity. They embody both the aesthetic allure and the raw power, creating a compelling contradiction that appeals to our sense of wonder. This combination makes them more than just battle-hardened soldiers. They are ethereal, almost poetic figures. Moreover, their role as guides to the afterlife taps into universal human anxieties and hopes regarding death. The promise of Valhalla, a glorious hall where heroes feast and train until Ragnarok, offers a powerful vision of an honorable existence beyond mortal life. The Valkyries, as the direct agents of this promise, become figures of comfort and aspiration for those who face death with courage. They transform the terror of death into a gateway to glory, an immensely appealing concept. In modern fantasy, the Valkyries continue to thrive, appearing in countless books, films, video games, and comic books. They are adapted and reinterpreted, but their core essence remains. Powerful female warriors, often with a connection to the divine or supernatural, who embodies strength and destiny. From the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie to various fantasy RPGs, their archetype provides rich material for creators looking to explore themes of heroism, choice, and female power. Their enduring appeal also lies in their ambiguity and the scope for interpretation. Are they benevolent guides or stern arbiters? Are their choices truly free, or are they mere instruments of Odin's will? This open-endedness allows for diverse narratives and character developments, ensuring their continued relevance and adaptability across different media. They are figures that invite exploration and reimagination, capable of fitting into countless new mythologies. Ultimately, Valkyries enchant us because they embody powerful and timeless ideals. They represent strength, beauty, purpose, and the human fascination with destiny and the afterlife. Their blend of divine power and relatable attributes makes them figures of enduring inspiration, reminding us of the heroic potential within humanity and the mysterious forces that shape our world. The ride of the Valkyries continues to echo through our collective imagination, a powerful and captivating call to courage.